Good morning, everybody. It's about, well, first to start, it's Black Friday, and I decided to opt out rather than go do a bunch of shopping. And it's a little after 7, just about sunrise here, and we're at Newfound Gap. Going to do a couple of peaks today. We're going to go from Newfound Gap to Clingman's Dome. Going to hit Mount Collins along the way. Going to be about 15 miles round trip, and gonna all be on the AT. It's a beautiful day. It's 30 degrees maybe, not too cold, so it should be nice, and we'll see y'all along the way. A little more than a mile in, and I have to admit that this first part has been a little rough on me. Never underestimate the power of altitude. You know, you wake up and hop in your car and drive up to about 5,000 feet and jump out and be ready to go and face a nice climb right off the bat. And it tells you who's boss pretty quick. Altitude will do that to you. But making decent progress now that I got over that first climb. Just crossed a fence intended to keep out wild hogs and into this grove of beech trees. Kind of neat. It's a little different than what you typically run into at this altitude. And the sun's coming up. Watching the world wake up this morning. Glad I'm not waiting in a line somewhere to buy a bunch of junk. Just had an interesting experience. Met a thru hiker, which is not normal to meet a northbound thru hiker in the middle of November. It was a fairly young girl from Nashville by herself. Said she wanted to hike the AT and do it by herself, kind of without the crowds, avoid the bubble. So she started at Springer 21 days ago, and she's going to go to, I think, December 3rd, I think she said. So said she's probably going to make it to Hot Springs or so. So pretty cool. She'll take a break for the winter and then resume in February. Actually, she said my birthday, February 15th. So kind of neat. Good for her to do her own thing and not follow the norm of hiking when you're supposed to hike and how you're supposed to, quote unquote, supposed to. She's doing her own thing. So it's awesome. So coming up on the summit of Mount Collins, I don't know if there's a benchmark here or not, but this would be peak number 9 of 40 for me for the South Beyond 6,000. Looks like there's a little bit of a higher spot on up. Fortunately, I'm doing it out and back, so I don't have to worry much about walking by it because I know I'll come right back. So I always kind of get a little anxious about making sure I actually step foot on the real summit. And on a one-way, you got to find it before you move on. But this one, I don't have to worry about that so much. It's been a nice trail. There's some nice flat parts. There's been some steep sections too, but it's been a beautiful morning. I've only met that one person so far. Kind of had it to myself, which has been really nice. This little clearing here to the right. Looks like it might be it. No. Well, this little spot right here looks like down in all directions. So I'm going to step off right here, and for now at least, I'm going to call this it. So this old tree here looks like it's growing out of the high spot. So Mount Collins, number 9 of 40. One more for today. Just past Mount Collins here, came to a spot with a little view of North Carolina. The rolling hills, a little bit of fog or haze down in the valleys. Beautiful. Got a clearing just ahead, and get a nice view of the destination, Clingman's Dome. Unfortunately, we're about 50 yards from the road. We got road noise. Kind of depressing part of this piece of trail is you can see the road, and there's a lot of this trail you can hear it, but you know, popular destination. So I thought this was going to open up, get a view of the observation tower, but I guess not. I saw it a little while ago and didn't film it. I wish I would have. A little bit of snow. I'd say above 6,000 feet or so there's been snow. A decent bit, not a lot, but every now and then some snow. Decent bit of ice on the trail from time to time. Probably be gone by this afternoon. It's supposed to be in the 40s today. And my view never did open up. Sorry about that. Alright, closing in on the peak here, and ran into a nice couple of folks a minute ago that are also out here peak bagging. And they're, I think, 26 and 27 peaks into the south beyond 6,000. So it's nice to talk to some folks and get some intel. Randy was her name, Earl was his name, and Earl said that the bushwhacks in the eastern part of the Smokies are not as bad as everybody makes them out to be. So that's kind of relieving. You know, you never quite know what somebody's experience is, but oh, check this out. Yeah, we'll get a little more of that from Clingman's here in a minute, but good to get that intel and know that it's not as, there's some fear mongering going on, I think, with the off-trail stuff. Good to know. They also said that they've already been to Clingman's today, and that it is clear enough to see Mitchell and Cold Mountain in the balsams, and so I'm excited about that, to be able to see some of these other peaks. So maybe only a half mile to go and we'll be at the top. Came around the bend and heard a bunch of people, so must mean I'm getting close. Actually, there's the observation tower up Might be hard to see through the trees there, but nice, beautiful day, and brings the crowds out, so about to get a little claustrophobic for a minute, but that's okay. Get up here in nab number 10.
I was telling her, I was like, we're going to start super after.
Okay. Oh, you come over here with binoculars. That last picture up is over there.
Oh. Sun in our eyes instead. I can't see them. Oh.
Charlie. I think that's got a word. Charlie.
You want to come do the easy part? I'll get started with her.
All right, so leaving Clingman's Dome, very crowded up there, which can't blame people, but it's hard for me to take video and narrate when there's all these people around and feel like a good dork. Hi, how there? How are you doing?
Good.
All right, back again. Ran into somebody there. Didn't want to be rude because I think she was trying to talk. So yeah. Number 10 of 40. Quarter pole made. The view was gorgeous from Clingman's. It was, you could see all of the Black Mountain Range. You could see the Great Balsams, Cold Mountain, Black Balsam Knob, kind of that range. So great day to be out here. I hadn't shot anything in a little while, basically since Clingman's Dome, because there's not really a whole lot to see on this trail. But I'm closing in on the finish. Got, I don't know, maybe a 1/10 of a mile or so to go before get back to Newfound Gap. So this has been a really difficult trail. Danny, when he did his section of the AT, said that this was one of the most difficult parts that he had, and I can back that up. This has been really tough. It's going to be over 17 miles out and back for this section, and the altitude doesn't seem too bad. It's like maybe 3,400 feet total gain and loss, but I guess when you have that in both directions, well, it's in one direction, it's 2,400 gain and 800 loss. So when you add those up, you gain 3,200 and you lose 3,200. That makes for a tough day. And then these last couple of miles, my right knee has really started to bother me, and so I almost have to step and pause and step and pause with that foot, particularly going downhill. So I don't know what's going on with it, but it's giving me fits here the last couple of miles and really slowed me down. But glad to have been out here today. It's been a good hike, but it's just been a hard one. I had a lot of confidence after my last hike here, the loop that included Kephart and LeConte, and I felt really good about it, felt good after it. And this one's kind of shaking me a little bit because on paper it's not really all that different, but for whatever reason it has treated me very poorly. So get home, take some ibuprofen, and I'll be on the mend. But all in all, it's been a good day, beautiful day. It's never probably gotten over 40, but the odd thing is no wind at all, just calm as it can be. Everything's still. It's been enjoyable. Starting to hear the cars get pretty close, so I think I'm about to pop out at the road here. So overall, I think stats 16.5 miles, I think is what it's going to end up being. So, pretty good ways. And we will see y'all on the next one.